This is the Boys Gen V podcast from TV Podcast Industries. It's finale time. We're talking about the season 2 finale of Gen V, Trojan.
You're early. We're not quite ready for you yet. Could you come back in like an hour or two?
If you let everyone go, I won't kill you.
Well, that sounds like a really nice offer. What do we think, kids? By the way, I totally get why you use your hands. It's not really functional, but it just feels right.
Welcome back, fellow boys and girls. It's the finale of Gen V Season 2, and we have all of our boys here talking about the final episode, Trojan. I am one of your hosts, Derek.
Hello there, fellow boys and girls. I am one of your other hosts, John.
And rounding out the trio for a very special episode, I am Chris.
Oh, finally. It feels so good to have all three of us back together, particularly for Gen V or any boys show, because that's kind of our bread and butter, right?
Yes. Bread, definitely. Butter, lobster, some sheets, bit of champagne.
Something like that, yeah.
Chocolate, strawberries, yeah.
Yes, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's how we afford our drinks.
Wheel of cheese, you name it.
Absolutely. And it's also birthday week at TV Podcast Industries.
It is.
Yeah.
Do.
Well, mine is this coming Saturday. Derek, yours, of course, has happened. You are that much older.
Mm-hmm. 1 year away from the big one.
I know.
70.
Half a century soon.
Yeah, I feel like it. But yes, happy birthday, John, for your birthday coming up on Saturday this week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Derek.
Thank you.
For your birthday that has passed.
Thanks very much.
Happy birthday, Derek, again.
Happy birthday to Chris for his
birthday, Chris.
Which happened months ago. And happy birthday to all the rest of you out there who are celebrating birthdays in October. It's a good month to have birthdays. I always joke about the fact that it's just because January is a very dark month, and that's why all of our parents got together and started the conception process for all of us.
Kept warm.
Kept themselves warm. Yes, exactly.
Stayed under the covers, shall we say.
But we aren't here to talk about birthdays or our parents getting together, thankfully. We are here to talk about the finale of Gen V. But before we do, we're going to talk about a little bit of feedback for last week, because the three of us haven't been together to talk about the boys Gen V for such a long time, and we missed out on some feedback last week because myself and John had to record a little bit early. So we'll start off with an email that came in from Meryl Smith, who says, "Welcome back, fellow pledges. It is time for Hell Week, episode 7 of Gen V. Let's start at the top with the big thing that we called, but was still the most exciting reveal in the show to date. The reveal of Thomas Godalkin possessing Dean Cypher, aka Doug Brightbill. Every move felt like a carefully calculated game of chess being played before our very eyes. He's back on the board properly and ready to execute his plan. R.I.P. Hempel. Sam, you had one job. Don't let the pledge die." As for the love triangle situation with Emma, Greg and Sam, I suggest becoming a throuple. That solves that issue right there. I love the discussion between Jordan and Annabeth about their powers and what they meant to them. The reveal that Annabeth had these powers since she was a child, and that she had a vision about her parents' deaths before that happened, added so much depth, because she wasn't informed that this kind of thing could happen. She wasn't prepared to deal with the deaths properly, and projected the guilt she felt for not being able to prevent it into anger towards her sister. With her admitting that, and in a way accepting her powers, maybe the road to recovery for these two sisters is possible. In case I haven't already praised Sean Patrick Thomas's performance in this show, well, here it is now. Him having to take on a bigger role this season has been an interesting pivot, and I've got to give him major kudos for stepping up to the plate and delivering an amazing character journey. There's been a lot of X-Men talk when it comes to this show, and it's appropriate, especially when we have a Professor X type in Cypher/Godalkin going up against Polarity, who represents the Magneto type. On another part of the board, we have the duo of Cate and Marie, who have always been two sides of the same coin, and this episode was a great reminder of that. I appreciated Marie calling her out and reminding her of what she's done and why she may not be so trustworthy. Effectively, that's putting a mind controller back on the board. Not to mention there are a couple of examples of Cate being self-serving in this very episode, even after she's different now. Still, I did appreciate that moment when she refused to use her powers on her friends. That was a good first step. Let's see where things go in the finale. Godalkin's manipulation is masterfully done because it exploits Marie's biggest strength, but also exposes its darker side, her need to help or heal someone in need no matter what. Since the beginning, she's been trying to reject that chosen one status, but when she needs to protect her friends and help someone she believes needs saving, she ends up doing something that hurts them. That draws a clear parallel back to Cate. Both have been manipulated and exploited in different ways, and their attempts to push back have led to the people they love getting hurt by them. Maybe she can fix things, and maybe they can all come together because they're going to have to if they want to take down Godalkin. I'm still hoping that because Cate refuses the quick fix and will instead play through the pain, she'll discover a new way to use her powers and play a major part in taking down Godalkin. Also, I've got to point out how the cover wrapped around Godalkin kind of looked like a cape. It was a pretty cool look for him. The stage is set and the final battle is about to begin. I can't wait to see how it all turns out. My rating for missing in action because of budget, Giancarlo expositions, but birth pledges, marionette style fighting scenes, and diapered former charcoaled men out of 5. Fantastic. Thanks, Meryl, for your thoughts.
Yeah, great stuff, Meryl. Loads of stuff in there to think about. Totally with you around Sean Patrick Thomas's performance there as Polarity. I think he's just done so well to, in a sense, take on, I guess, a lot of the weight from with Andre.
What would have been Andre's role? Yeah. We were speculating about that as well. That a lot of the things, and even right up until the finale here, there are moments that you would expect that would have been given to Andre had he been around. Yeah.
No, and I think that's the interesting piece, how they shifted this whole season around those two characters, and it works. It works so well, and we'll probably end up discussing a lot of that in this episode as well.
Absolutely.
I do have to laugh about the Giancarlo Esposito or expositions.
Yep.
I'm trying to. I don't know whether it was, let's say, budget. I think it's more that he's probably not needed until the next season of The Boys. You don't want to overplay the hand on this.
Yeah.
He is a big time actor, understandable, but he was, as we alluded to in Derek and I's podcast, he came in as Basil Exposition at the end, and that for that episode to give away the information. He had no other role.
I think there was just a funny moment at the start of Hell Week of this episode 7, where everybody is waking up from their night's sleep and they go, I'll go and get my grandfather from the other room. Do you think he'll let us borrow his car? Yeah, I'll go and ask him off screen over there because we're not going to pay him for another episode.
Yeah.
They could have filmed that at the same time.
No, absolutely. That's the weird thing, I think, at the end of the day about it, is just that, a lot of things can be filmed out of order. So all those moments, he was there. It's like you're dressing the set for light, I think, rather than much else. So anyway, maybe it was to do with other people's schedules. You just never know.
See, I always wonder about that. And I really need a director of TV to explain that to me, because I always wonder about that. When you get a different director on each episode of a show, for example, how do they get the director credit for an episode if people are filming bits for multiple episodes?
Well, maybe on TV it's different. I must say, I am kind of, in a sense, thinking of movies. So it could be different. It could be that they're given that thing. But I guess if you're, but at the same time, it's like first unit, second unit directors. You still have different people even on movies. So I think that's the thing here, is that, okay, this is the main episode that you're going to have, Giancarlo Esposito in there. Yeah. But we need some footage just for, the next episode or the episode after that or something,
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
But it is an interesting one, isn't it? I always wonder why it's done that way. But more than likely it's to do with the credit. He gets a really special guest star credit for episode 6, which he really heavily featured in, but they don't give him that credit for the rest of the season because he'd have to be paid a full wage for those episodes, So it's probably something to do with that. It
probably absolutely is budget. Yes.
Yeah. Of course, a lot of the feedback that you mentioned there, Meryl, we have the answers to it now from episode 8, but I didn't want to not read out your feedback because there's some really interesting points that you make in there that the resolution does come in this episode. So great feedback. Thanks so much for sending it in. As you mentioned, we will be doing a wrap-up episode. So if you haven't got your feedback in time for our coverage of the finale, of course, we will be doing a wrap-up episode where we will discuss any additional feedback for episode 8. But we do have a little bit more over on Facebook. Mindy Megan sent in her thoughts.
Yes, Mindy had this to say. So Marie doesn't control blood, but can she heal skin? And the whole body? I've been pretty confident that the burned man was Mr. G, whether or not he was also Cypher. Because you can tell through the prosthetics, at least I thought, that it was SpongeBob, aka Ariana Grande's boyfriend. I didn't think they'd bring in a medium-level cameo like him at the top of the season just to never see him again. But I was right, as a lot of us were, about the Cypher thing. Yay! Though I'd rather watch Hamish Linklater as Cypher. Still very perplexed how Sister Sage fits into all this and why'd she be aligned with him. Thanks, Mindy. Again, a lot of this is answered now.
Mm-hmm.
I have to admit, I don't understand the Ariana Grande boyfriend SpongeBob piece, but Derek has confirmed that this is a thing.
Yeah, the actor who plays Thomas Godalkin played SpongeBob on stage, I think, in a musical version of SpongeBob.
Okay.
And he's also the boyfriend of Ariana Grande.
Okay.
I don't keep up with that type of showbiz news.
Yeah.
Now I'm wondering how old actually is he? You know, I mean, I know he's got fuzzy grey hair, but maybe he's not as old then as he's portraying.
He's probably about 26.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Probably about 30.
They're trying to make him look like he's 100 or something underneath. But we'll talk about that.
Definitely in this episode. Definitely gets aged slightly.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Yeah,
but no, good stuff, Mindy. And I do know what you mean. I kind of would rather watch Hamish Linklater as Cypher.
I kind of love that we got both. I love that we got Hamish Linklater for 7 episodes, and then we get a little bit more of him playing a different character in the finale. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I really like that. Great stuff. Thanks, Mindy.
Yeah, thanks, Mindy. And Corey Gannon says, so, do you all think Marie is really a threat to Homelander, or was that just Tommy Godalkin trying to pump up her ego and confidence? Will Marie heal Maeve for season 5?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, looking at it, she can heal just about anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So A-Train's in good shape for his heart.
Oh, absolutely, John. Very good. Yeah. There's a lot of people who have been injured that could be healed by Marie. Yeah, I think that's absolutely something that she could fix. You know, Billy Butcher is on a death wish, about to die at the end of season 4. Is that how Marie will use her powers? Will she cure him, or is he still kind of on the opposite side from the rest of them?
So she should be called Marie Night Nurse.
Well, absolutely, yeah. She could be. She could be the night nurse of the boys. But yeah, I do think she would be a threat to Homelander if she can get close enough. I think that's absolutely established. But they have said the character will not be, you know, this magic wand that they'll wave in episode 7 or 8 of The Boys season 5, where she just walks in and blows his head. Like that's not the way they're going to use Marie. She is a character well developed over 2 seasons, so they will use her for much more than just being the secret weapon that they have hidden. I think they're much more creative than that on The Boys show. Yeah, I
think even with the fact of what Marie does in this final episode with Thomas Godalkin could put, you know, a more of a sort of sympathetic feel from Homelander. I mean, in some respects, he does have that sometimes, unless he's just gone too far down the road he is heading down.
He's gone pretty far.
Yeah, no, he has, and so maybe not. But do you know what I mean? Even that it would be enough to buy some time for Marie if and when they confront.
Yes. Yeah, look, the two of us went through the same thing. Maybe there could be some kind of moment, at least. Again, they've got to fill up 8 episodes of story. This isn't going to be a movie. This is a big final season of the show. There'll be lots of movements. There'll be lots of duplicity. We said this season there were moments with Marie where we were going, "Oh, is she getting a bit of a moment where she could become the new Homelander? You know, the Gen V version of Homelander. Could she turn bad and turn on everybody else as she develops her powers?" So that could be something else that they'll explore further in The Boys. But
will she develop a weird mummy's fetish too?
Yeah.
No. That's just a Homelander thing.
I think it's just a Homelander thing.
Yes. Sort of go for milk.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much to all of you for your feedback. Keep sending it in. You can email us to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com or pop on over to our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/tvpodcastindustries. I'll have our spoiler posts up there for each of the episodes of The Boys. Get it into us and we will talk about them on our wrap-up episode for The Boys Gen V Season 2. Another thing you can send in to that email address is your answers for our Gen V student bar quiz. The final question of that will be up later on in the episode after we discuss it.
Indeed it will.
There
it's mini.
Excellent. Right, shall we get into our chat about the finale of The Boys Gen V Season 2, John?
Yes. Derek, give us the episode details, please.
Sure. The show, of course, is developed by Craig Rosenberg and Evan Goldberg with Eric Kripke, based on the comic book series from Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson. The executive producers of the show are Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. And this episode was written by Justine Ferreira and Michelle Fazekas. Interestingly, Michelle Fazekas was one of the showrunners for The Boys Gen V. She's been working in TV for many, many years, and we've talked about her many, many times. She was also showrunner for Agent Carter, one of our favourite shows in the Marvel Universe. So kind of cool to have her still involved in shows covered by TV podcast industries. And interestingly, this is the first writing credit for Michelle Fazekas.
Oh, nice.
So one of our most well-known writers and one of our brand new writers. Kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And the episode, once again, directed by Steve Boyum, has directed lots of episodes this season.
Good stuff, yes.
Excellent. John, do you want to tell us what they gave us with your synopsis for The Boys Gen V Season 2 finale, Trojan?
Sure. In 1967, Thomas injects himself with V1, the version used on Soldier Boy and Stormfront, just before being burned by a laboratory fire. In the present, the group tends to an injured Doug, but Marie cannot heal him after the effort used to restore Thomas Godalkin to his former self. Later, however, when her strength has returned, Marie heals Cate and restores her powers after they reconcile. Meanwhile, Polarity takes Doug to hospital. En route, they discuss Andre's kindness and bravery while at Elmira, before Black Noir attacks and kills Doug and captures Polarity. Meanwhile, Thomas Godalkin, now back to health, has one last lesson to teach the students at God U, as he prepares seminars with the students to eliminate the weak soups and enhance his own powers. This he does all with the aim to be able to control Marie and eventually Homelander, whom he blames for the soup's decline and weakness. But Sister Sage disapproves of his new plan, and after a tense conversation with Polarity in his cell, she leaves his cell door open. At the training room, while Godalkin makes his point, Marie arrives at the seminar with the rest of the group infiltrating inside Black Hole. They plop into the training room and, combined, they manage to subdue Thomas after Harper controls him, getting the students to safety. Thomas Godalkin is down but not out as he manages to control Marie, and through her, he tries to kill her friends. But Polarity arrives and manages to remove Thomas's control, allowing Marie to kill him, exploding head style. Afterwards, Polarity tells the group to flee as he stays behind as a scapegoat. As fugitives, the group is recruited by Annie and A-Train to the resistance against Homelander and Vought. We're all rebels now.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Different movie, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Great moment at the end here, and lots of great cameos throughout this season.
Indeed.
One of the things we really mentioned about Gen V this time around does feel like it's part of the Boys universe. It seems like it's essential now. It's not a show you could skip, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. I mean, even just for the characters, because they're transferring between the two. It's that background's really, really important.
Yeah.
I mean, in particular for Marie.
Absolutely.
So yeah. But shall we get on to our moments of this episode?
Absolutely. Yes, for the final time, we are getting into our freshman or minor moments for the episode. The moments that stood out to you, or you may never forget moments from the episode. There's lots of these out there. Chris, do you want to give us your minor moment for this episode?
My one's a very quick one. Where else would you get someone eating chocolate strawberries, lobster, pizza, and then just dabbing it away with Egyptian cotton silk sheets.
Absolutely.
Like, that is some serious thread count just to get that. And we all know how oily lobster is. Now,
well, if it's been covered in butter, slathered in butter.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the sheets are covered in other things since himself and Godalkin and Sage have been in the bed for quite a while.
I would say so.
Yes.
Does he down Mary Rose sauce as well, or something? Yeah. It is like one of the little containers you get in a takeout, and he just swigs it, and it looks like it's the kind of the Mary Rose Thousand Isle dressing,
right,
that you get on a prawn cocktail.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah. He's tasting everything. You got to remember, this has been since 1967. He hasn't tasted food in his own mouth. He has tasted it through the people he's been controlling, but he's not tasted anything at all. So the amount of delivery companies that have been made available in all those years, all the restaurants that have been available since then, all the things that have been created to fill you up. Since then, he would have been...
That's true. So that's why the wine's going down his neck. Because I was like, well, that's a bit odd, but he's just forgotten how to drink it.
Well, that's part of it. Yeah, that's part of it. He does pour wine like I pour wine, just almost to the top of a glass. You get almost a full bottle in when you pour wine like that.
Yeah, no, it was good, actually, all that with all the different foods. And for me, I was like going, pizza? Just takeout stuff, and then lobster, which he puts into the pizza box, doesn't he? Yeah, I thought that was really, really
Sister
good.
Sage did such a great job. It's like as if she was waiting for this moment to treat Thomas Godalkin with all the stuff that he's been missing for all the years,
I just thought, it was just funny, but then the silk sheets are the bits that got me, because I was just like, the OCD kind of cleanliness, and he was like, no,
it must have been your nightmare.
That's never coming out. And then I was like,
in their mind, they could probably just replace the sheets tomorrow. It's not a major problem, right?
Exactly.
Just burn those sheets.
They're not even, you would have to burn those sheets, but more that they're not going back to the house because they are going to the 7th Tower. But we'll discuss that later.
Absolutely.
That was my minor moment.
Well, and it's also just that nice little moment where you can just sense the crack come in the pane of glass that is the two of them.
Yep.
He's kind of saying, everything's gone the way you predicted, but then you just hear that as, he talks about certain things,
Yeah,
exactly,
And the way he speaks to Sister Sage as well when she gets all coy. Just the slight little bit of a crack.
Yeah, there's just those moments when Sage is kind of going, isn't my plan great? And he goes, yeah, but I have some other ideas. And I'd like to get incorporated. Yeah, something's bad. Something bad's going to happen. Excellent. Good choice there, Chris, as our kickoff. My one is you've got a dick on your face. I just loved how they use Rufus's powers. This time they really put him to the sidelines since the first season when we found out the way he was using his powers was to roofie girls that he wanted to sleep with and basically raping them. So he paid the ultimate price and lost the ability to do that. So you kind of forgot what his power was until the moment that Sam and Emma go to warn their fraternity brothers that they shouldn't be heeding the call from Thomas Godalkin to go to their new special class. And then suddenly they're standing there with Trojan on their face. Going, oh, for God's sake, Rufus has done it again.
I know.
It's just really funny. It's because it's something that happened a couple of times in season 1, and we didn't know what it was until we learned the truth about who Rufus was as a character. But I love that they used it in that scene and a really funny moment. You forget how powerful that power is, I guess, just putting people under for a couple of minutes while you can walk away, and do whatever you want to, basically. Also love the joke that it's actually Black Hole that drew
exactly.
It wasn't even Rufus. He just did it because he thought it was funny.
It was some of his best work, as he said.
And he stayed there because he believed them that they shouldn't be going down there. Always want to point out that this actor who plays Rufus, Alexander Calvert, was quite a major character in the last couple of seasons of Supernatural. He got like 3rd billing on the show for the last couple of seasons. He was massive. And once again, another character brought over from Supernatural into the boys' universe here playing Rufus. So kind of cool just to see him weaving in and out of the show. So cool.
Definitely.
Great stuff. John, what about yourself? I know you've probably got one of the big ones, do you?
It's kind of big, but I mean, actually, it's to an extent the play on the title. So, because there is, in a sense, you could argue a Trojan horse in this episode. But in terms of Black Hole, carrying the troops inside to the training room. But they say Trojan, I say the Turdis. It's browner on the inside. Yeah?
Well done.
Isn't that good?
Yes.
It's clearly, much bigger on the inside.
Absolutely.
I do like Emma's reaction as she gets plopped out onto the floor of the training room.
Yeah.
And I do wish that the sound guys could have somehow just done a plop sound into water. But like really faint, really subtle. If you really listened. Because, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
There was just something like that. But anyway, my shout out, my minor moment for such a big squeeze is Black Hole, aka the Trojan, aka the Turdis, or Tardas, maybe I guess, whichever way you want to say it. Yeah. He was the secret weapon to bring all the group, all the gang into the training room, so that by their powers combined, they could take down Thomas Godalkin.
I do like that they have, through Gen V, through the boys, and it started in the comic books, where they would show that there always are these stupid superheroes or powers, but then, like, they'd make something out of them.
Yeah.
So, like, here you see a guy who has a black hole for an anus or a rectum, like, actually is pivotal in this episode.
Exactly.
And he was the butt of a joke for most of this season.
Yeah.
Literally.
I think we pointed out that he has made the freshman moment every single episode of this season, because no matter what he's done, he's something has happened in every single episode to use him. So I'm glad the payoff for it was so big that he, even with that, he still makes a freshman minor moment, even with it being such a massive moment, because they couldn't have won the fight if it wasn't for using his powers. They wouldn't have been able to get in there.
Exactly. And it is, like you say, Chris, to the point, Marie does have that little speech to say it was all of us combined, even the weak ones, or the ones you think have the stupid powers, or the weak powers that brought you down. So, I mean, even Bushmaster was in on the action.
Absolutely, yeah.
Holding him down.
Yeah.
So, it's really good.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Excellent. That's our freshman, our minor moments from the episode. Let's go on to our medium moments. Who wants to kick us off with this one?
Yeah, I will. I've got Bubbles and Burns. It's kind of the 1967 bit in the laboratory as it's on fire, and with Project Odessa, I guess. Or at least, not even Project Odessa, but the start of the V compound sort of journey, really. So we did think his bubbles, the burns on his face were purely from the fire. And it's interesting here that we see, in his panic with the lab burning down around him, he immediately goes for the compound V, which has killed all his other laboratory sort of researchers or technicians. And in this case, he manages to survive it, but you see his skin bubbling way before the fire has set him, sort of Guy Fawkes style, to toast. So it's kind of interesting in that in the hyperbaric chamber, because he's using his powers on Doug all the time, that in a sense, it's actually a combination of the burns and the bubbles of however this power manifests itself. Because you do think, yes, his skin would scar dreadfully, but you would think it would have improved by that stage.
Maybe.
Or something. Yeah. So it was just an interesting thought that was like, okay, it's not like he's been in perpetual burn mode.
Yeah.
There is there is a side effect to his power. It wasn't that he just survived it, which he did, but he survived it where as he uses it, his skin starts to bubble. And we see that in the training room as well.
Yeah.
As he's using his power sort of more intensely as well, I guess.
And it sounds like it's a permanent side effect from what's happening with the Sister Sage conversation. She says to him, look what you're doing to yourself. She can see the marks on his hands even after he's finished using his powers. She can see the bubbling is still there. So he will return himself to the state he was in before Marie fixed him up, basically, if he continues to use the powers at the level that he's using them.
Yeah.
Unless he can work out a way around it, unless he levels up his powers, I would guess was the intention, which we probably never get to see now. But I guess that was the point, that he was still willing to put himself back into a fully burned body, just to use his powers. And Sister Sage going, we didn't need to do that. We didn't need to use your powers to accomplish the plan that we had that we set out. You know.
Well, it was that he wanted to level up so he could control Marie.
Yeah,
because he could then control her to heal himself.
Mm.
That's kind of the way I was expecting it. But it was
Plus
right.
More,
it very much, But it very much reminded me of Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
In that.
Yeah.
Deadpool's healing factor, even though he can never die, is that his skin is constantly like healing and full of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's it. I saw it as very similar to that, which is, and we do know how volatile and weird the first version of Compound V was.
Yeah.
From like Stormfront conversations, from the Soldier Boy conversations that we had over the last previous seasons of The Boys. Like they've told us that it was a bit weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, even like the first flashback as well to 67, you see them all dying in various ways. Just it's that unstable. But and also, like you say, we get confirmation, Chris. It's the same compound that was used by Soldier Boy and Stormfront, and that's why. So again, that's why he hasn't aged.
Exactly.
It kind of sets them in stasis almost, biologically.
Exactly. Yep. So he doesn't look his 100 years after he's been restored because of that, basically. So, a really interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah. So I thought this was really good. I thought it was really interesting. It was a nice little explanation. Yeah, a nice little bit of, okay, is it the burn? Is it the Compound V side effect with the kind of bubbling sort of skin? It's both in effect here, and
also the big call out that it is the same version that was used as you mentioned, because the next show that's coming up in the Boys universe is Vault Rising, so very likely we're going to see Thomas Godalkin in there meeting up with Stormfront and meeting up with Soldier Boy. So when they're back in their youth, basically, and that's where he gets his hands on Compound V for the first time. I would guess.
No, exactly.
Yeah, we have to see that. I mean, maybe we'll just see him in the last episode of the show getting the Compound V and starting his tests, basically.
And it's also, as well, just again, this notion of being able to level up the powers. That because by the end as well, we do see him controlling Marie. And we see that Marie has got more control of her powers. So there is this notion that, yes, okay, it's, I'm injected with Compound V. I guess equivalent to the bite from the spider. So, something's gone into the system, but then after that, you can actually further develop these powers. So that's kind of an interesting little twist as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, I love that. I'll jump in here with my medium moment, which kind of leads from this point, which is the fight, the major fight in the training area, and just how much control Godalkin starts to exert, and you have multiple parties fighting and killing each other. It was so, for such a small thing. Like we've talked about, if you think about in season 1, you had the big campus fight at the end. This was as much more self-contained, and it worked. It worked for me because you had people with some interesting power sets, and you had what I enjoyed it as everyone got their 2-second moment. If you look at Emma fully used her powers, and it was cool to see her grow, all the clothes start to rip off in a very kind of Incredible Hulk-esque kind of piece, and then like kick and then shrink down.
Yep.
You see everyone, like Emma got her to use her power.
Exactly. No throwing up, no having to eat massive amounts of food afterwards. She's able to control her powers perfectly. It's great seeing Harper and Allie use their powers to control Godalkin. I think there's some great moments in here, but this is how you do it. And to me, this felt like the team in Guardians of the Galaxy. Seeing them all team up together at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and into Guardians of the Galaxy 2, everybody uses their abilities to take down the opponent, right? So everybody might have a very small ability, but when you use them all together, this is what you can produce. This is how you can take somebody down. You know, it was almost like even the Guardians in Avengers Endgame, you know, that kind of thing. So
I think as well, the other side of the flip of that was just the first set of students as well, where Thomas Godalkin walks through to press the button and he's flipping between them, just seeing all the different powers being used. I mean, even to the one where the guy that is able to phase through the wall, you know, he's not in control, so he's able to phase through, is able to get out and warn everyone. But it was just, I kind of liked that. I liked how the effort as well that Godalkin is using to sort of control multiple people. He starts, that's where you see the bubbles happening, but you see him slowing down as he gets there. But then he gets there, and you know, when his power is released, you see them all in pain.
Yes.
So like with Doug at the start of this episode where he's like, you know, coughing up blood.
Yeah, exactly.
And so on. So I thought this was really interesting. I think even just then, you have Sister Sage kind of watching on, getting more and more horrified. But like, you know, it's just, the whole fight thing, the choreography, and then with the team coming in.
I absolutely loved
really good.
Harper when she uses her power to take control of Godalkin and then goes, right, I've got him. Do I have control of everybody else here? And everybody's voices in the room are echoing at exactly the same time. And Emma just kind of says to her, okay, now stop controlling them. So I love that she's able to get the power and then use the power within this like 60-second window that she has. So, but while we did compliment Marie's speech, which it is a great speech, it was all of us that beat you. She has him held up as if she's going to rip Thomas Godalkin apart, like the sheep earlier on in the season. If she hadn't made that speech, she would have actually killed Godalkin before he ran out of time, before the time ran out. It was like, I know you want to say something cool because you've seen superhero movies, but maybe leave that until after he's dead.
Exactly. This is the one I'm like, every now and again, you gotta, like, this is where Emma should have been that comic kind of timing and just had said something. Just kind of go, why did you need to monologue?
Yeah.
Like, because we've seen other shows make fun of that part where it's like, oh no, now I'm going to do this. And you're like, no, you're giving the criminal the time to like fight. Like, what are you? Just shoot first, ask questions later.
Yes, it was such a well executed plan. Other than that, like everybody was on point. Everybody was using their powers in the way they needed to take down Thomas Godalkin. Yeah. Marie should have been able to use her powers, but decided that she'd just allow the time to run out. Yeah,
but I do like the change in Marie once Godalkin is in, because it speaks to that thing that she was saying before. Well, I believed all this BS. You know, my ego was played on. I think that's why she understands Cate in that moment. That, you know, she believes she was the chosen one, and you have her then speaking like the chosen one, even though I get it. It is Godalkin who's speaking through her. He's fully in control. I just thought it was a real cool sequence how she, you know, the eyes kind of darken as, you know, she holds all the friends and sort of trash talks them as well, to the point of the whole "we're all rebels now" from A-Train. It's where Godalkin does say, you know, you've got good powers. Like, I think it's to Jordan, but you decided to be a traitor to your own kind. You know,
it's like he's going through one by one, because these are not particularly the students that he would have killed under his concept of getting rid of the useless and weak ones.
Exactly.
So he's going through one by one, and he's kind of starting to take them apart. And then he says, well, Cate's massively powerful. That would be a great power to have under his control. And Jordan, that's a great power to have under his control. Someone that can change shape and become more powerful, become stronger. Great things. But because they were traitors to the cause, they all have to die, even though traditionally they would be the ones that would now form into the Seven. His new version of the Seven, I do love that he calls out Deep. As I mentioned earlier on in the season, that when Thomas Godalkin looks at the Seven, he must look at the Deep, go, why the hell is that loser on the team? I love that he specifically calls him out in this episode. I thought that was very funny. What else about the fight, Chris, do you want to talk about?
Really, it was just, you mentioned very briefly the choreography. It was just, they really executed well in terms of just even how it was directed, how it was shot. Like, we had some nice, I'm going to sound, I don't know the technical term, but spinny cameras. Like, the shot was well done.
It really was.
And it was minimal CGI. And it really just reminded me of why sometimes I really enjoy Eric Kripke and this style of show compared to some of the other shows we cover, where we have talked about typically the finale is power set versus power set, big bombastic kind of CGI fest, and people think that's what you want. And I'm like, no, this can be done in a small controlled way and still have that same impact, if not more.
Yeah.
And I think that's just why it's like the fight. I just want to call it the fight itself as this little medium moment, because it was well controlled, but at the same point, like, probably what I would consider one of the better finale fights we've seen in a long time.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just want to call out one moment in here. We did mention that Cate got her powers back. They make an agreement, and she gets cured. And how she uses her powers is that Godalkin's new assistant, interestingly named Vance. Wonder where they got that name for him. He gets controlled by Cate, and he's the one that allows the additional student into the room. That's an interesting choice by the writers to call a stupid assistant who can be easily controlled Vance.
Vance. Yeah.
Do you wonder what his first name
Interesting.
is?
No,
or initials?
No idea.
Or I wonder.
John Deegan.
Might be that. Yes. Excellent. My sophomore or medium moment from the episode is Sister Sage's turn on Thomas Godalkin. We'd been wondering, or there have been lots of questions throughout the season as to what Sister Sage's position was, whether was she being controlled by Thomas Godalkin. But no, once again, Thomas Godalkin is another jigsaw piece in her puzzle. And if it doesn't fit, she's willing to drop it out and find another puzzle piece to complete what she wants to do. And it doesn't work. We mentioned a couple of times in just little ways throughout the episode that things start to break very early after Thomas Godalkin returns. She sets him up. She gets him food. She sorts him out. She asks him to move in with her. She even says she's never had somebody else live with her since she was a child, but she's willing to open up her home to this guy. That's how close they are, which I thought was quite interesting given some of the history that we know about Thomas Godalkin. The guy's a Nazi, right? So interesting that he's in a proper relationship with Sister Sage, and she believes that he would be the one to move in with her into Vault Towers. But very quickly, he tells her that he has a different plan, and the plan that she has, while good, won't get him to where he wants to be. So I just wanted to kind of call out that Sister Sage is still on that plan. She has told Homelander she will put Homelander in the position that she believes he's going to be in. She's leading Vault, and the minute Thomas Godalkin goes against that, she doesn't even entertain the idea that he could have a better plan than she does. She instantly throws him to Polarity, basically. Polarity's been captured, so she goes down to his cell, and she's kind of a bit off with him. She seems pretty off, I guess, about the idea that she's just lost the person that she thought she could stand beside in Thomas Godalkin. But she talks to him about the power that he has now, about the leveling up that he has, and then leaves his cell and leaves the cell door open because she knows exactly what's going to happen. She says to him, it doesn't really matter what decisions you make, you're not going to die today, and everything will play out the way I expect it to, basically.
Yeah.
And the way she expects it to is that Polarity is the person that is able to stop Thomas Godalkin from controlling Marie. He's able to knock her out and knock everybody to the ground, allowing Marie the ability to turn her powers on Thomas. So it's just, I love watching how those kind of things play out. Those jigsaw pieces falling into place for Sister Sage's plan. All she has is a couple of words with Polarity telling him basically what he needs to do, leaves the door open, and everything goes exactly to her new plan.
Yeah, but it's even the pieces, like, you know, as Godalkin's kind of catching up on food and drink with Sister Sage, and, you know, she's there speaking to him saying, you know, we need to find a way to introduce you to Homelander so that he doesn't feel threatened. When she's there kind of watching him do the kind of video message to all the students where effectively he is announcing his return, she's there going, well, that's not the way to tell Homelander. And then freaks out even more when she sees what he does, and he doesn't answer her question that, well, my plan would go with that, and you're still on with that, and he doesn't say yes. And that's when, you know, she goes, right, okay, Polarity, that's here I come.
Exactly.
And it's just really good.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it makes that sense of premeditation so much more with Sister Sage. That all Machiavellian, you know, just this notion that everything's planned so that she can predict all the different permutations of it. So she knows what's going to happen. Like, she's that intelligent.
Like, she'd be like the Lex Luthor of this universe. She's the one that can see every possibility to its nth degree. Even a minor change from that plan, she knows how it's going to play out. And there is a great moment I mentioned about, obviously, Vance being Godalkin's assistant, but there's a great moment when Godalkin lays it out for everybody once again to see that Homelander is the Donald J. Trump of this universe, where he says to him, this man is just so weak, he cannot be allowed to see anybody else that could possibly be a threat to him. He will instantly take down anybody around him that is a threat to him. Thomas Godalkin's not willing to do that for a person like this. It's his weakness. It's his fear. It's his hatred of anybody that could possibly upstage him in any way possible. And that's what Homelander's been doing for 4 seasons of The Boys, taking out anybody around him that could possibly be a threat to him. And that's why Thomas Godalkin isn't willing to be revealed to him slowly in a way that is non-threatening, as Sister Sage is suggesting. So I love that how that's played into the final episode as well.
I must admit, I absolutely love the set for the prison that Polarity's in, that Sister Sage puts him in, because it's literally glass roof, multiple glass walls, and I was like, very cool, very reminiscent of X-Men, the original X-Men, where you had Magneto in his glass cage prison.
Absolutely.
Very just a nice touch, because, if you put him anywhere else, Polarity could just reef himself out of this place with the iron, and we see that later where he picks up chunks of cement because of the rebar and steel and metal in the cement. But it's nice to see. And then seeing, as you said, Sage is that she is the brains. Now, it is funny to see how she has all these plans consistently, and yet the machinations of just evil men with bigger egos have consistently destroyed her plans. And at a certain point, like, I'm interested to see where they go, because I think it could be interesting to see. We keep saying it's the Boys versus Homelander and the 7 next season. Actually, we're almost getting to a point where now there's a third kind of player in here, which is going to be Sister Sage and her machinations.
Absolutely.
Against Homelander and the Boys and the Resistance, the Starlighters.
Maybe.
I think it could be an interesting play.
Yeah, maybe. I think there's she is one of those characters. I think even Eric Kripke was saying she's the most dangerous character in the entire Boys universe, because she has her plan, and if you get in the way, she makes plans that steamroll you, basically. That's it. So she is that kind of person that would go, the Earth is dying because of greenhouse gases and because of the environmental threat. Well, the easiest way to solve that is to kill all humans. Okay, well, I'm going to kill all humans except for me and the 20 people that I need to keep the world going. Like, that would be a plan that could come from Sister Sage, because she has no care for anybody else other than her plan being the most perfect plan possible. So she's untrustworthy. Her plan might make a logical sense at the end, if we knew what her real goal was. She's told Homelander it's to keep him in power. That's because that's the most challenging and interesting thing for her mind to set itself on. But yeah, I wonder what her real plan is, and what and will that be revealed in season 5 of The Boys.
Hopefully.
There we go.
Hopefully.
That's my medium moment for the episode. Let's get on to our final major moments for the episode. John, what's your major moment for the episode?
My major moment is kind of a small, intimate one. It is Doug and Polarity. Polarity taking Doug to hospital to get his wounds sorted out. And as they're driving along, they start to talk about Andre, and, Doug. It's just kind of nice, and I think it's because there's been such a sort of weight of Andre on this season, and
Absolutely.
I mean in a good way, but like you can sense that they've really honored his memory by, as we mentioned, just in respect to Meryl Smith talking about Sean Patrick Thomas's performance, just how he's been able to like come to the fore, take on that role, and how it's been woven into the story. And I think this moment between Polarity and Doug is just that, is almost like the writers just making it quite obvious about it, because they're this reminiscing of for Polarity, Andre as his son, but him also recognizing exactly what Doug is now saying when he was under the control by Thomas Godalkin, that he just was brave at what he did, but also that he riled up Godalkin in such the wrong way, that you have Doug laughing. It just, that it was both bravery and it was this tenaciousness and just niggle for the bad guys.
Yeah.
He was it was the itch that the bad guys couldn't stop scratching because he was there constantly on them. And I just kind of really liked this moment between Doug and Polarity.
Yeah, loved it. Yeah, absolutely loved how Polarity's just going, that sounds exactly like Andre.
Exactly.
That's exactly the kind of thing he did. And then Doug's going to him. There's even a time when he pissed in his coffee. I have no idea how he did that, but it wound him up like nothing else. It was fabulous. A really good moment between these characters. Again, we've mentioned, keeping Chance Perdomo at the center of the story for this season, even though he's gone, has felt so important. They really have done such a good job of keeping the character involved, even though the actor's been gone. Obviously, really sad loss, but the fact that they've kept him center to the story feels unusual and really good, really worthwhile. So having this moment to say goodbye, where I think the final lines that are said about him before the attack are Doug saying that this guy was a true hero, one of the only true heroes I've ever met.
Exactly. So it was really, really nice, I think. And I have to say, I had to watch it a few times because it was quite emotional, but equally, at least the first time I thought, something's going to happen here. Something's going to happen here. And I was like, and in comes Black Noir. And, Samurai straight through Doug. So poor old Doug has gone. Which is a shame. And you're kind of like going, okay, is Polarity next? But actually, no, selfie taken and he's actually captured and imprisoned. So I really like that. In fact, I do like when Polarity says, you talk now in the cell. That was just really good.
So, yes. So, just in case people have forgotten what happened, Black Noir is dead. This is an actor who's hired to play Black Noir and told to keep his mouth shut. So, he's an actor who's been performing for many years, who happens to be played by the same actor who played Black Noir in the first couple of seasons, but a great way to use him. So, now he is an actor who is absolutely in love with Polarity for the movies that he's made, and he wants to have the opportunity to question him about his process and how he got these great movies made that he loved so much. I absolutely love this.
It was very good.
And I love that Sister Sage walks in the room and basically kicks him out, going, "Stop bloody talking. That's not what you're supposed to do. People aren't supposed to know that you're
really
a different
good.
Black Noir."
It was really good. But as I say, I did kind of have to watch it 3 or 4 times just to get the Doug and Polarity conversation, because sort of 3 or 4, like 2 times, because like the first time I just knew something was coming.
So
I couldn't quite concentrate.
And
I thought, oh no, it's going to be midway through sort of Doug's eulogy effectively. But luckily they had... They did recognize what they were doing, and that's what I mean. That's why it did feel special, because they knew not to sort of bring Black Noir in too early.
Yes.
Doug managed to finish the eulogy in that sense.
Black Noir could have just been listening in and then waited for the moment to then come and kill him. But yes, great.
So that's
moments.
my
Really
kind of major moment, really.
And it was a good moment. Like, it really just, it's a reminder of why we like the writing in this, which is like you said, they could have just did a mid-sentence chop of the neck, but no, they gave Chance his dues, and it's a nice way of kind of letting Chance as an actor go via his character's eulogy.
Exactly.
Very nice.
Yeah, and indeed, Polarity then, when he effectively tells the group to run, and for him to stay back,
exactly.
So,
yeah. And that brings me on perfectly to my my big moment from the episode, because it is how it all wraps up with the character. Polarity stays behind. And there was an interesting part of that conversation with Sister Sage, who was saying to him, you were much more dangerous before you accepted the death of your son, before you accepted the death of your wife. Now you're just another soup with a very strong power. It's like as if she's given up on him. She was maybe thinking that Polarity could form part of the plan as he leveled up, but he's now accepted the death of his son. He's now willing to live and willing to live in memory of his son. So this moment when he says goodbye to the team, when he makes them go on the run, he's about to take the responsibility for everything that happened. He's going to live on. And that's all because he has now accepted what's happened, and has now got this amazing power that was able to stop Thomas Godalkin from controlling everybody. So that's quite cool. But it leads to the team going in the run, trying to find the house of the very expensive actor, Giancarlo Esposito. Does anybody know where he lives? I think he might be a couple more miles that way. Are you sure? Oh, well, you were in my pocket at the time, so you don't know the exact directions where you go to. Hang on. Jordan was there, and Annabeth was there, and Marie and Cate walked from his house. You all know where he is, but we can't afford to bring him back. But who we can afford to bring in are some major members of the cast of The Boys. We can bring in Annie and we can bring in A-Train. So the two teams get to meet up together.
It was nice. This,
and it was only when I listened back to what Annie actually says when she arrives that I realized that they were trying to set up the fact that A-Train is with her. I didn't realize that, but when you listen back to the words that she said it was an easy way to find you guys. It was a 200-mile perimeter. It only took us about half an hour. And what she's saying there is, I had somebody very fast helping me find you people. So that was kind of cool. A-Train's line to them saying, this thing of standing out in the middle of the street, that stops right now. You are rebels. You are going to act like it. You are going into hiding. We're getting you off the street. This idea of being able to be found is not going to happen from now on. Love the fact that the kids from Gaudieu think that they're the rebel team. They're the ones that are resisting, but now we've got two different rebel groups becoming the Rebel Alliance, which was a joke from earlier, of course.
Yes.
I had to say I didn't expect A-Train. I think that was the nice kind of surprise.
Yes, big reveal.
I was expecting Starlight.
Yeah.
Annie. The second the second we saw the flashing of the kind of the streetlight.
Yeah, the bed knobs, exactly.
Yeah. I was like, ooh.
That's a low, John, isn't it?
The bed knobs, they're flashing.
Once again, they flashback to a low on this podcast. How many times have we flashed back over 11 years? How many times have we talked about a low in this podcast?
The street lights, they're flashing.
Flashing. God, I love that show. I did for a split second go, oh, do we have a Stormfront? Do we have someone? Like, are we going to get a very similar ending to The Boys last season where it ends on a low note because everyone's captured again, etc. It was good to see Annie once kind of she arrives. A-Train was the fun one because seeing him, I actually forgot how involved he was with that rebel, the kind of Starlighters and the Resistance. Until I was like, oh yeah, he is. He's part of this now. He's another soup. Yeah. Because as you start to try and pull together this resistance in your head, you're like, how many bad guys is there? How many good guys is there? Like, what is the good versus bad alliance, the Empire and thing? How many soups have we got on each side? The Starlighters and Annie and these Gen V little kids are slightly outnumbered.
Yeah, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah. It's an underground resistance, and could involve quite a lot of humans, as well on Starlighter's side. So, won't just be people with Gen V in their blood. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how that plays out next season, because as of right now, pretty much all of the members of the team, Huey, everybody, they're all captured in some way, right? So we know we saw Frenchie be captured and taken away. We saw Huey being taken away. Yeah. So yeah, they were very low, and it was only Annie that was free at the end of last season. So so it's good to see that they have some form of resistance. It wasn't just her coming in on her own, telling Marie to go and investigate this Odessa project. But there is a bit more than that, and thankfully the way they've shown that is with the arrival of A-Train is kind of cool.
Definitely, yeah. No, I really enjoyed seeing A-Train, like yourself, Chris. It was kind of really unexpected. And I think, the fact he's not in his soup outfit, and it's just like, he looks so much better for it. And then you're also going, well, hopefully Marie can sort out his heart problem. And I think with him, Annie, and then it just feels like a nice moment here. The other interesting thing is we have Annabeth staying with them as well and joining this resistance with her sister. So yeah, I kind of liked how this ending sort of plays out and how it will go into things to come.
Absolutely.
Which I'm going to jump in and kind of talk about my major moment, which is how this sets up the future, because this is the end. Like, this is the last episode, and we do know that they have said this feeds directly into season 5, The Boys. Yeah. As of taping our recording, Eric Kripke has actually come out and say that they have ideas for a season 3 of Gen V. It is not confirmed yet, because they're waiting to see numbers and all that. But they have ideas, which is definitely an interesting piece here, because we do know, as of right now, we have the prequel, the Vought Rising prequel show that will be coming out. And we do have a in production, but not started filming yet, The Boys Mexico show, which is interesting. So this kind of leaves us with directly feeding in. We know the shows are going to be kind of focusing immediately next on season 5 of The Boys. But it really does just kind of make you go, okay, well, we know then the actual, right now, maybe The Boys universe will continue past next year. We may get more of this, because I have to admit, I would like to see Jordan and Marie, particularly Emma, continue on.
Absolutely.
I could do with a show about these teens, the Gen V teens, as they're like very much Runaways. If anyone remembers that comic book or the TV show, it's that kind of teens versus the establishment mentality, and that is with that boys flavor in the boys universe. It's a fun angle. So I'm just like so happy that this is where we are leaving this, setting up the next season. And the fact that Kripke has said he's got ideas for next season, and like that would continue the Gen V storyline beyond what we have now. So this is not the end of Gen V.
Exactly.
It may be the last time we see Godalkin University, and maybe the end of maybe that. But they have ideas beyond the ending of season 5 of The Boys, which was always my, oh no, because when I read the comic books, it finished, and that was the end of the universe. Then we got Dear Becky, which was a follow-on comic book series, and I was so happy because you're like, it's more of what you love with different characters, or in this case, same character. So really interesting. Yeah,
absolutely. No, I'm really intrigued to see what they do. It feels like this is the end of this arc, these 2 seasons at God U. So now it's about the characters and how they live in the world. I would guess the end of season 5 of The Boys is the death of Homelander, right? That's kind of where it should be aiming towards. So, so the next story after that doesn't have to be tied to Homelander and the Seven. So, yeah, there are lots of opportunities there. And yes, Vault Rising coming, which is the prequel series, and The Boys Mexico, which is co-produced by Gael Garcia Bernal and Cassian Andor himself.
Diego Luna.
So the two of them reuniting after many years apart. They started out in Itimami Tambian, which we all loved. So,
absolutely. Almost like coming of age movie.
It was a great movie.
I wonder if I can do that.
And then they appeared everywhere for years. So it's great to see the two of them coming back in this universe.
Absolutely.
It'll be really exciting to see. But that is probably the next 3 projects. So if there is a 3rd season of Gen V, it'll be in a few years' time. It'll be probably 2028. I would say, which is quite a bit away.
It is, yeah.
We'll have podcasts to go till then, though.
Oh yeah,
excellent.
Always, definitely.
Anything else to talk about with the season 3 setup for Gen V or season 5 setup for The Boys?
No, I just want them here now.
Well, not right now. We have a little bit of break
coming in my eyes
after Gen V. Any notes for the episode?
It's just to talk about the title with Trojan, because we do have in here the title that could be referring to the US brand of condom, because we have Thomas Godalkin saying he felt like he was living his life inside a condom.
Yes.
With his hyperbaric chamber. So, yeah, it could refer to that brand name as much as
a Trojan horse.
A Trojan horse.
Yeah. Excellent. Yes, I thought
Trojan
that was good.
buttocks. Yes. I guess.
Could be it. The one I just wanted to mention, just the call out from Doug, that he was the second person controlled by for such a long time by Thomas Godalkin. He was taken in 1996, he says. So he's been under the control of Thomas Godalkin for ages, for 20 years, you know? But there was a previous person that was under the control called Dr. Fielder, who was now an old man, when Doug went around to fix his, TV, I think he said, and then was taken over by, Thomas Godalkin made kill him. So Dr. Fielder, sounds like somebody that could have worked in the lab, where Thomas Godalkin was in 1967. Probably a young man then, and as he aged out, he moved on to Doug. So my prediction is that's a character we're also going to see in Vault Rising in the prequel.
It would be
series.
good, wouldn't it? Yeah. So keep a lookout for sure.
Keep a lookout for Dr. Fielder.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's it for our chats about the season of Gen V. John, overall, what do you think of the finale of Gen V? Do you have a score for us?
I do. I really, really enjoyed this. I'd give it 4.5 Turdises out of 5. I just really, really enjoyed it. I like the fact that Black Hole got his brown moment. I liked that. You could say it was a clench too far, but no, I really, really enjoyed that. Since he's been one of my points pretty much for most of the podcasts that we've done. You know, all hail the side character that comes big in the end.
Yeah.
And I liked how, Andre was dealt with really fittingly, I thought, here between Doug and Polarity, and Polarity saving the team, to kind of be that fall guy. Yet so much I'm looking forward to for season 5 of The Boys, given that ending with A-Train and Annie, this notion of the resistance, of the rebels, all of it is just really neatly packaged together. Funny as hell, as always. Really well directed, written, acted, everything. The fight, absolutely, spot on. So yeah, for me, really, really good ending and fitting for this second season of Gen V. It really got into its stride, I thought.
Fantastic. Chris, any final thoughts on the episode?
Not much more than what I've talked about. For me, this episode as a whole was a great ending. And I know we'll, in our kind of wrap up, we'll talk about how we saw the whole series. But for me, it started strong, the series. The episode finished the series strong. And left us kind of, as John said, I'm like, I just want more now. And knowing I have to, it's that kind of, I just have to wait. I enjoy this universe. I enjoy, I joke about when I think they're going to zig, they zag. They definitely do some of the unexpected things, like using a character's child who we haven't seen for a different series to kill one of the stronger characters by basically devouring his head. That alone is just completely left of field. Using a joke character as a central in the most important vehicle, literally, in the episode, because we've been laughing and seeing him as a joke character throughout the season, and then he is the one that basically sneaks them into the end fight. It's just well written, well directed, and I'm just so happy it did come together the way they expected and the way I hoped. But yeah, overall, fantastic. Derek, what about you?
Yeah, I really like this final episode. Really loved how it all played out. I love that Thomas Godalkin has taken off the board, because that closes him out as a character for this show. The show is based in Godalkin University, so great way to close him out. I was fully suspecting, especially at the beginning of the episode, that himself and Sister Sage would walk off into the sunset into The Boys season 5, and it would be the new big bad, the two of them together, controlling Homelander in some way, and it would just be a big cliffhanger at the end, especially because of how The Boys season 4 ended. Exactly as you mentioned, Chris, I thought it was going to be a big downer of an ending, but they got to close it out. They got to all team up together, use their powers together, take down the big bad, and move on to the next season. Really enjoyed it. I loved how it all pulled together in the end. It was really, really good. The only complaint I have, I just have to mention it, the final tag scene with the meeting of A-Train, Annie, and the Gen V kids. I loved the sentiment of it, loved how it was written. It was really good, but it was such a pity that it looked like it's all filmed at years apart from each other. They did not look like anybody was on the same stage at the same time. And I guess, when you're tying together multiple shows and trying to work out exactly where your show's going to go in a couple of years' time, or finishing off a show that was originally written a couple of years ago, I'm sure it would be very difficult to get everybody back together to film the scene together. So it just felt weird that, Annie was looking off to the right, not looking at any character at all when she was delivering her lines, and A-Train was looking off to the left, not looking at any character when he was delivering his lines, and then the Gen V kids were all together in a scene, and then the camera was over the shoulder of Annie and A-Train the whole time. So it just felt a little bit out of place. So, but that's what happens. Give you that. Yeah, it happens sometimes. Not a major complaint. It was the sentiment of it, and what it was there for it worked for me. So yeah, but overall, really good episode, really good capper on the season. Speaking of cappers on the season, let's go for a shot. Let's go for a beer. Let's go to our campus pub for the student bar quiz for Gen V and our final question, John.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back, fellow quizzers and, of course, fellow boys and girls, for question 8 of the student bar Gen V pub quiz. Question 8 is, what food delicacy does Sister Sage suggest Thomas Godalkin should taste now that he is out of his hyperbaric chamber?
Yes, there is only one thing that she says to him, so it's not any of the things he actually ate, it's what she suggested that he should try, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, excellent. Get the question one more time, Jeb.
Yes, what food delicacy does Sister Sage suggest Thomas Godalkin should taste now that he is out of his hyperbaric chamber?
That is it. That's the 8th question of 8. Gather together your answers, email them to us as soon as you possibly can to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com, and you could be in with a chance of getting your hands on some Gen V goodies. If you missed any questions throughout the season, pop on over to our website at tvpodcastindustries.com, and all questions are up there right now. So get them there, get them to us, and we will chat about it on our wrap-up podcast in a couple of weeks' time.
Whoop, whoop.
Good stuff.
The podcast and, of course, the pub quiz are brought to you by our supporters over on Patreon, including our supporter, Rupa Nalam. Thank you so much, Rupa.
Yeah, great stuff, Rupa. Thanks so much for your support. Really, really appreciated.
Yeah, been on board for quite a while, so thank you so much for keeping us going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, Rupa. And if you want to be as cool as Rupa, make sure you head on over to patreon.com/TV Podcast Industries, where you can support us monthly for any amount over there. Or if you'd like to support us with a one-off donation, you can pop on over to buymeacoffee.com/TVPI and buy Derek a coffee as he toils away into the wee hours, editing our dulcet tones into a format that you can put directly in your ears. Magic.
There you go. Excellent. Excellent. I love my job being described like that. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
Let's have a check-in with our wonderful fellow boys and girls and see what they thought about the finale. First up, we have an email in from Coffee and Vodka with his thoughts on the final episode. He says, "Greetings, fellow freed defenders. Gave this a 5 out of 5 as it checked all the boxes and even surprised by killing off the big bad via nice nostalgic head popping. I will have to watch it again, however, to see if it completely deserved the rating. Something about it, despite the patented boys-o-verse ultra-violence and hyper-histrionics, seemed very Arrowverse in tone. Saying this, a nice payoff for the season-long Black Hole appearances and a smooth bridging into The Boys Season 5. Next year can't come soon enough. 5 X-Men, dickless blunders, and Sages scorned out of 5. Peace and take care. Coffee and Vodka."
Excellent stuff.
Fantastic.
Coffee and vodka. Yes, absolutely. The long black hole. Great to see that pay off, as you say. Because, yeah, I mean, it could have been dreadful, but it wasn't. So all good.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Coffee and Vodka. I think by Arrowverse tone, you mean really good with weird bits in the middle. Yeah, that's a fair way of saying it.
It is.
Yeah.
Because remember, first season of The Arrow and The Flash, pretty darn
Absolutely.
good.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that.
They were, and not one character in here cried and said, "I've got a drinking problem." That's my discussion point for this 5-episode arc. So not as bad as Arrowverse, thankfully.
No, sure.
Yes, excellent.
Well, we never know. Maybe one of the kids did have a drinking problem, like a black hole instead of an esophagus. Who knows?
They could have, but they didn't spend 5 episodes talking about that as being the central storyline for the show to talk about. So, thankfully.
Yes.
Excellent stuff. Thanks, Coffee Vodka.
Yeah, thanks, Coffee and Vodka.
Thanks, Coffee. Over on...
Not vodka, though, because that'd be a drinking problem.
You got it!
Thanks, Coffee and Cream.
Yes, thanks, Coffee and Vodka. Over on Facebook, on our group, facebook.com/groups/TV Podcast Industries, we had 2 wee bits of feedback. The first from Patrick Lemke, who had this to say. A little underwhelming of a finale, in my opinion. Curious how this will lead into The Boys' final season. Thanks, Patrick. Yeah, sorry that you felt it a bit underwhelming. Personally didn't, but I think they have set up the final season pretty well. And hopefully our thoughts will help guide some of your thoughts, and we do a big groupthink version of how that final season is going to go.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. There's so much set up here for the final season, but I personally loved, as I said, the arc of this 8 episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been really good.
Yeah, and the second piece of feedback over on our Facebook group came from Dr. Bob Phillips, who says, "I thought this worked well as a mid-season finale, speared the Godalkin /Cypher Doug arc leveled up Marie, reset the powers of all our soups, and drew stronger battle lines between the Burning Eye Boy and Glowing Flight Girl. Really enjoyed the gender switching Forest pee break, the usefully oversized hoodie after the giant kick, and the return of Bush Mistress and the TikTok time mimic. I'm pretty certain this isn't broadcastable, but my other brief thought was anus ex machina. Indeed, Dr. Bob. Yes. I think it is broadcastable.
Of course it is.
Yeah. This is our mature rated podcast.
Not mature rated.
This is our
immature rated podcast.
This is our odes to innuendo.
Yeah, nothing wrong with medical terms like anus. That's absolutely grand.
Yes, exactly.
I think I've said a few words that I might have to bleep out when we release the podcast, but anus ex machina is not one of them.
So we just need to speak in Latin.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, grand.
Yeah.
Biggest dickus. There you go.
Yeah, I just don't think we'd have the same listenership if we did our podcast in Latin, especially with these 7 words of Latin that I think we all know.
Pope might be a patron. Who knows?
Oh yeah. Welcome back to The Boys Gen V Season 3, just for the Pope
and his priests.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bob. I have to say, you actually reminded me. I did forget about the gender switching Forest P trait.
That was really funny.
That was a very funny moment.
Yeah,
and it was just like one of those, like, you can only pull off with Jordan. And I was like, oh yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
That was a good one.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Dr. Bob. Well, we're back on John's actual birthday because, as always, every time we mention how much feedback we have, we always get some in after we say it. So we said there were 2 pieces. There's, of course, more. Thank you so much for the feedback. On
this birthday feedback.
Yeah. Happy birthday, John. Again.
Thank you. First up, over on our Facebook group, we had some thoughts from David, Mr. Writer. So that was alright. Rushed to watch it, so I can offer feedback. So feel like they left some food on the bone. Godalkin sort of wasted, no? Would have liked to know how the skin burning thing would have progressed. Would have been better ending if his full skin was filled with boils and he had reverted back to his starting stage. Would have also been interesting to drag him into the boys. Sage, for the smartest person, you didn't see this supremacy twist coming. The more I write, the more plot holes I see. They definitely could have workshopped this out a bit better, to be honest. They hyped up all Godalkin so much, but in the end, he was taken down kind of easily. Also, Annabeth, your visions suck. What you showed us was nowhere close to how it ended. Anyways, can't wait to hear your podcast. 3 sucky visions out of 5. Thanks, David. That's still a recommend in my book, 3 sucky visions. Do you know, I mean, it didn't really get to me, but I see your point around Godalkin. Right. You know, given he was brought back, yes, he only really had, 1 episode. So it may have been interesting to see sort of him in Gen V. I guess we are getting him potentially in Vault Rising. But I do kind of see where you're coming from with that, to be honest. And with Sage, yes, I mean, it's always the debate with Sage. It's like, is it just pure intelligence? Is that intelligence almost making her a soothsayer or a clairvoyant because the prediction's so correct? But in any case, you're right. It's almost like her coyness in the bedroom with him meant that she kind of overlooked some of his potential pathways that would have conflicted with her overall plan. So I think you're right. I think it got the sense that she didn't see it coming. It was only when he maybe just outlined it. And I think that's to the point that Sister Sage needs the evidence to act or to predict. Yeah,
except she had a plan very quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, like, remember, she would have been the one that sent out Black Noir to take in Polarity and put him in prison, and I think that's her backup plan.
No,
and that was while they were on the way to the hospital. So very quickly after Godalkin had left the body of Doug, basically. So I think she's kind of a hopes for the best but plans for the worst kind of person, and that's, you know, that's her ability, is that she is amazingly good at planning. So that's her super ability.
She's a planner.
Yeah. So even if things go the wrong way, she was able to take care of it. So she may have may have hoped that this guy wasn't going to turn on her. She obviously was in a relationship with him for a long time. That came out here in the episode. So she was hoping, and she was in love with him. She was saying that she was going to have him move in with her, you know. So that's quite a big thing.
Yeah, definitely. So good stuff. Thanks, David, Mr. Writer, and hope you're looking forward to The Boys Season 5, and indeed Vought Rising, because we might get a bit more about Godalkin in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lovely stuff. Thanks, David, Mr. Writer.
And sorry you had to rush to watch it, send in your feedback. We record on Thursday evenings, GMT time. We record about 7 p.m. Not tea time. Tea time, basically.
GNT or GMT? Gin and
tonic time, yes. Could be it. So really sorry if you felt you had to rush to get it in. We were going to hold it over until wrap-up podcast, but thought we'd put your thoughts into the episode before we put it out. Yes. Great stuff. Thanks, David, Mr. Writer.
Thanks, David, Mr. Writer.
And finally, we have a feedback in from Meryl Smith, on the final episode. She says, "Welcome back, fellow blood puppets and members of the Resistance. Hopefully Godalkin was able to get John, Derek and Chris all together to talk about the episode via puppeteering. A great finale and a spectacular ending to the season as a whole." Was it Godalkin that got us all together, John?
No, we did.
We did, finally. Yes, after a long time.
Soups don't do everything.
I'm a bit of a soup, though, John. I got us all together. How about that?
I like soup.
You know, I have to autocorrect every week. The document keeps trying to put it in as soup. In the document. Anyway, back to Meryl, who says, "Although there is one thing that I have to bring up, and it's the character of Stacy the Bee Lady. Notice how she's disappeared since episode 3 of the season and has not been mentioned at all. I thought for sure they would pay off that joke about her stinger and possibly die as a result of that. There was setup and there should have been payoff to that. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's move on to the star of the episode and our big bad of the season, Ethan Slater as Thomas Godalkin. It's quite fascinating to watch the actor rediscover the zest for life, only to succumb to the maze, the game, and the trap that he once set for everyone to be on. The best metaphor that I was able to come up with, that it was like Godalkin was a video addict playing the game in VR for most of the season on easy mode, but once he could play it with his own personal controller in the real world, although rather than put down the game and stop playing, he's so fixated on it that he tries his luck at playing against players who've been playing on high difficulty mode. The unfortunate thing that he failed to grasp was that while attempting to level up, some of the players might have also leveled up as well and would stand together against what was ultimately his undoing. Honestly, I really loved seeing this interesting new side to Sage. You can really tell in her performance how she felt like they were on the same page, things were moving towards the end game that she saw for herself, only to realise that Godalkin's God complex might be difficult to contain, and instead she opts to be more pragmatic and leaves the door to Polarity's cell open to allow to help take him down. And while I'm in this section, let's give a special shout out to Hamish Linklater. He's been a major standout this season and he's going to be a hard act to follow, and his performance as Doug Brightbill is just as exceptional as his Dean Cypher's one was. The pure sincerity and genuine emotion that was coming from him was something else. I especially love his final scene with Polarity. Pretty much all season we've had Cypher Godalkin continually throw Andre's fate and Worth as a person in his father's face, and it's through talking with Doug that we almost get a reversal of that and praise of the kind of hero that Andre really was. While I'm going to discuss the show, giving respect to actor Chance Perdomo with the various nods to his character and how important he was in the show and how he truly will be missed. Also, you can see the certain elements in which his character could have come into play in the story. A particular favourite scene of mine was the moment when Marie heals Cate, a quite intimate scene that's not meant to be a big and over-the-top scene, which is what makes it so much more impactful. Nice detail of both of their noses bleeding at the same time as her mind-reading powers returned, a nod to those parallels that they've had all season. Cate reads her mind and her saying that she forgives her and thinks that that's the particular thing that Cate's saying thank you to and not the healing of her powers. Not all redemptions have to be over the top and involve a bunch of grand gestures that may result in their deaths. Sometimes it's about people seeing the full consequences of their actions and course correcting accordingly and becoming a different person than they were when they started out. See A Train at the end of the episode.
Indeed, yeah.
I've put the fight off long enough, so now let's get to what was an absolutely spectacular sequence, especially with our titular Trojan in the form of Black Hole playing a major role in it. Now, that's how you pay off a setup. I also love how this fight paid off some of the mini arcs and some of the characters within this action sequence. So Cate using her powers to let Marie into the room, further supporting the thought that doing small things can make a difference, and standing with them against Godalkin to Sam, and Greg putting aside their beef to protect Emma, and then Emma being able to grow and shrink without any of her coping mechanisms. Love that even Emma's squad also came in clutch, as well as Bushmaster, who you just know that Godalkin would have seen as weak by his standards, and Harper. And I gotta give some extra kudos to Jazz Sinclair in her performance as Godalkin. You really see all the little mannerisms in that performance. But all good things must come to an end, with Polarity coming in at the last minute to save Marie and ending things the way Newman would, with a head pop. Although there are theories out there that Thomas Godalkin might be alive, which for his character could be possible, not ruling it out. Well, now I feel slightly bad for doubting Greg, but there was reason to do so, and even though there was a kiss with him and Emma, it seems that Emma will be focusing on herself and being single, so good for her. Gotta give some more praise to Polarity for the low-key father role that he's ended up playing with these kids. Here's hoping that he becomes the new dean of the school. Well, I had to talk about the breakup scene somewhere, and it seems like this is the best time to do it, and I kind of saw it coming a mile away. It's been slowly seeded that Jordan and Marie were not going to end things together, and they were more divided than they cared to admit. Sad to see it end, but it had to happen. Unlike Emma, Marie won't be single for long. And finally, let's get to a final scene and the return of Starlight and A-Train and forming of the Resistance. Looks like the final season of The Boys is going to be some really exciting implications going forward. Also, with the addition of Cate and Sam to the Resistance, we may not have to wait too long to see Kimiko and Frenchie together again. Bring on season 5 of The Boys. I'm curious how it will all turn out in the end. 4.5 Blood Angels, godly head explosions, and black hole deployments out of 5.
Excellent stuff. Thanks so much, Meryl. Yeah. To be honest, I'm glad you said it, because I had kind of forgotten about B-Lady and her sting. And it is a drop for sure, because you can absolutely sense that she, somewhere along the lines, even as a member of the staff on Thomas Godalkin would have said, "You're weak also."
It feels like, the way I would have put it into the story would have been that they were going to use her to introduce Thomas Godalkin to Homelander. That she was going to be the PR lady that was going to introduce him somehow, and he would instantly kill her because she doesn't have a power that he respects, basically. Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
Yeah, so I'm really glad you mentioned that, because it's kind of out of sight, out of mind in that sense. So, I hadn't really sort of retained the idea that she was around to have some kind of comedic sort of death at the hands of Thomas Godalkin or anyone else, or even if she was just trying to defend herself and she did sting someone, but it got ripped out, so exactly. But nonetheless, she's still in the world, so she might still have her moment to shine.
She may be going over to Vault to replace some of the Ashleys who are dead over in Vault as PR people. Excellent stuff. So many great thoughts in there. We've talked about a lot of them throughout the episode as well, Meryl, but thank you so much for your thoughts, as always, on this season of The Boys Gen V.
Yeah, definitely. Like yourself, Meryl, really curious to see how this will turn out in the end. The great finale scene at the end there with the return of Starlight and A-Train as well. Yeah. Really, really good. So loads of the stuff there, I think, totally with you. So thanks so much for the feedback.
Absolutely. If you have any further thoughts on this season of Gen V, as we said, we're going to be doing our wrap-up podcast in a couple of weeks' time. So email us into feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com. We'll chat about them on there. Thanks so much for joining us for this season of Gen V. What have we got next, boys?
We have The Witcher coming up in a mere few weeks, and we will be covering the one and only Marvel Zombies.
Yes,
we will.
Yeah. And finishing off Sandman.
Yeah.
As well.
3 more episodes to go on our Sandman coverage, which we will be able to get back to once we've done Marvel Zombies, because that is our Halloween Marvel show. So we will be covering that. Yeah, looking forward to chatting about that. It's really good. Go watch it over on Disney Plus, and then come join us on the podcast. You can get all of our podcasts, of course, over on tvpodcastindustries.com, which I have cleaned up, as I mentioned, throughout the season, so you're able to find everything a bit easier over on there.
Yes, please send Derek his dues by going over and having a look at tvpodcastindustries.com.
Absolutely. Loads on there.
Yeah.
There's tons of stuff. Exactly.
But if you have any thoughts on Marvel Zombies, make sure you get them into us at feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com. And until then, until the spooky season is finally here, thank you, and we'll see you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us. Talk to you next time.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, fellow boys and girls, for joining us. Until next time, keep watching, keep listening, and of course, keep squeezing.
Bye.
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 Get it, got it, good.
Another thing you can send in to that email address is your answers to our student bar quiz for Gen V. I never get that right. Is your answers for our student pub quiz for... Is your answers for our Gen V... Is your answers for our Gen V student bar quiz? The final question of that will be up later on in the episode after we discuss it.
Indeed it will.
There you
It's
go.
mini.
Get it, got it, good.
Yeah.
The shot was well done.
It really was.
And it was minimal CGI. It was just... And for... It
Apart from
really
getting everybody
showed
out of
me.
one guy's ass. But anyway.
Yeah. And the laser-eyed man.
Minimal, I said.
Okay, relative in Gen
Yes,
V. Yeah,
relative.
okay, grand.
Get it, got it, good.